Welcome to another episode of The American Dream, a show that's unscripted, that combats negative media, commercial-free. If you get anything out of today's show, it's about dreaming big. Let's start the show right now.
We do it in the spirit of going against the grain of the negative media, giving inspiring information, and having people walk away from our show with something of value.
You're seeing a disruption in both the real estate and the mortgage space.
A lot of people are just not willing to put in the work.
What video does is that it demands an emotional response.
You know what I love about the show? It's totally unscripted.
So when we talk about this show, The American Dream, a big piece of it is how it's a mindset, not a circumstance. I don't know if there's anyone who better illustrates it than a guy named Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is a guy who came from nothing. He's built a successful empire that sells books, products, coaching, overall just a very inspirational guy. So we're here in Miami and we're sitting in a bank. Now, what you don't know is the bank, actually all this commercial space, Grant just bought it. So we're gonna go meet Grant, we're gonna walk around, show his company culture, get to know his story a little bit better, and then we're gonna go visit his private jet. So this should be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and let's check this out. Follow me.
So let me bring you back here, Craig.
Okay.
So this is our e-commerce right here. We'll do about maybe 40 this year.
Snap a few shots and everything.
And so, hey, Ryan Secco, how you doing? Amazing. He's a pilot and works in the real estate. He's moved from phones to pilot to we're going to raise $1 billion in cash for real estate deals. So we bought this building and we're blowing out all the way to that side. I need all the room in it. Yeah, what's going on, guys? What's going on? Hey, so this is the boiler room right here, okay? These guys are making phone calls all day long, cold calls, warm calls, and follow-up calls. Hey, guys, say hi to Craig, will you? That's how we roll, dog. That's how we roll.
Love it. Hey, let me get 2 claps to the Ric Flair.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm Kara Kay with The American Dream. I get to meet with Ryan Serhant of $1 Million Listing. It's an exclusive interview and it's one you won't want to miss. Are you ready to cheers to your book and all your success?
Sure.
Okay.
Are we drinking this?
Yeah, I mean,
Are we chugging
I know
it?
nothing about wine. I'm Kara Kay, and today I get to speak with Ryan Serhant. He is here in San Diego promoting his book. We are excited to read it. You do so well in real estate, and you know the power of media and TV. Thank you again for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
With the wine in the wine room.
It couldn't be classier, in my opinion.
I know, this is very classy. I should have worn a tie.
So I know that you know the importance of TV and media. How important do you think that is in real estate today?
I think media is incredibly important in all businesses. I think any business that does anything for marketing in any way, shape, or form is now a media company. I mean, if you're a real estate brokerage like I am in New York City, we don't build the apartments, we don't build the buildings. We're not really real estate brokers, we're media brokers, right? I find different ways to market my properties via media. And so for me, television has been huge, and now we do a lot through the digital space, right? You can see that a lot of networks are going digital. I have a YouTube vlog now, just to try to hit a different, a different viewer base. It's really important.
Sure, I think you of all people know the importance of getting exposure to listings, which is why you've gotten into TV and media. Now talk about the transition into how important it is to be social as well as on TV.
Yeah, I think that if you're a salesperson, right, which is what the book is for, is anybody who sells anything, you're really selling yourself, right? You're creating a relationship. You sometimes have to talk about the product. Sometimes you have to go into the price. Sometimes you have to go into the features. You need to have all that information, but that's what you need to do. That's the job, right? Everything else, especially through social media, especially through different forms of media, is building that relationship passively, right? This, you and I talking right now, is an active communication, building a relationship. But I can hit so many more people through social, through YouTube, through LinkedIn articles. People talk about passive income all the time. For salespeople and for a lot of people in our generation, kind of the gig generation, we have passive relationships are passive income, because those will turn into other sources of work for us down the line, and we just don't even know what they are.
If you are talking to a realtor who really wants to make it tomorrow and in the future, what advice would you give them?
I am always blown away when I meet new salespeople, especially real estate agents, who post on Instagram once a month, who aren't doing anything on YouTube or on Facebook or on Twitter, and they say, well, that's not really me. Well, then the job isn't really you.
Thank you for watching. Link, subscribe, you know what to do. Oh.
Like and subscribe.
Oh.
Not like and subscribe.
You can't sit there and complain about not having business, or sit there and complain about how the market's so tough, if you're not actively doing things that are under your control. And what's under your control is putting out media. There's so many different places to absorb content these days, and so many real places to hit real people, to target them directly in your neighborhood, on your block, like that age group. It's all about consistency too, right? It's a really, really important word, and it takes a long, long time. Like for me, it took me 3 years before I stopped thinking about quitting real estate every day. It was tough. And same thing for social media and all forms of media. Like, you have to be consistent with what you put out there all the time, and that way people know what to look for.
Now, what do you guys think as a team? What does the American dream, I guess, mean to you in your office?
It's freedom of choice to be able to own a home if you want, or rent a home if you want, or to be able to have this job or this opportunity or that opportunity without repercussion, other than your own expectations and your own stress that you put on yourself. I really do think that everybody has that thing in their stomach that is trying to get them to that next level in their life that they actually can take control of, but not everybody wants it. And that's the one thing I can't teach. Like, I can teach a lot in the book about how to find what your motivation is, how to find what's going to wake you up every day, how to find what's going to help you make a little bit of extra money every single month, but I can't teach you to want more for yourself. You have to want that on your own. So we're cheersing to the American dream?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that again.
Okay.
So it's like for real.
Okay,
Cheers.
cheers.
All right.
To the American dream.
Am I supposed to drink more?
No.
Okay.
How did we do? I am infamously terrible at alcohol.
I'm a real dude, and
So where are we? What is this here?
this is the e-commerce department. So we do about 40 million out of here.
Okay, so
Everything: Facebook, Instagram, webinars.
What is the product line?
So the
Coaching.
the product line's everything from 10x hat, $20, cufflinks, to $80,000 program right here. So this is educational. This is what I started with. I was basically educating sales organizations, big companies, like from banks to car dealers, car manufacturers, on how to handle a customer differently. So he's doing a video Skype conference call. Let's go back and see. Hey guys, how's it going, guys?
They can hear you.
What's up, baby?
Hey, you guys are awesome, man. I got my little glow on. How do I look?
You looking good? You look amazing.
Dave's got a little light filter here.
for that.
Hey, really appreciate you guys. William, Jason, Elliot, Amanda, Lauren, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being a customer. Anything we can do to help you guys, let us know, all right? Okay, thank you. So that's how we support our customers, through Skype calls, Zoom, video conference. What's up here? This is a stat board. Okay, this is Jeremy's made 110 calls. George Badia's got 2 minutes and 44 seconds, 2 hours and 44 minutes of talk time already.
You guys need anything, let us know in between.
Corey Gill, I don't know where Corey Gill, where you at, Corey Gill? 2 appointments set, man? Did you set them both? Your mom and your uncle.
I'm not doing the power.
Come on, man, come on.
I'm Temple Blackburn with HomeSmart, and today joining me is Mr. Bill Gray, the guru of real estate. So tell us, Mr. Gray, a little bit about your background that I would love to share with my audience.
Well, I started real estate in 19
1978 after teaching high school, because I realized when you teach high school, you don't make any money. Someone said, why don't you go into real estate? I thought it was going to be an easy job, and I realized it was the hardest job I ever had in my life.
Yes,
now I
it's a very
teach at
long time.
ASU. I was lucky enough for them to call me and say, would you like to teach our real estate and business programs? And here I am.
And so he teaches here. We're on actually in Tempe near the campus at a place called House of Tricks. We decided to meet here today so we can give a little bit of background about, we just want to share something that's unique to the area, and so it makes it easier for him to also be here to share. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the market. So I have these clients, I have just conversations with people that are saying that the sky is falling. You know, in 2008, you know, we had a little bit of a, not what we call a bump, but a burst. And so we've talked about this before, and I'm trying to really communicate with people and educate them that that is not really necessarily the case here. So can you share a little bit about your insight into that?
If you look at our market now and say, is there a bubble? Most likely not, but there's going to be an adjustment.
Certainly.
And all adjustments are necessary to have a healthy market. If you would look back to about 2008, we didn't have a bubble, we had a burst.
Right.
We had people losing their homes, we had tremendous problems.
We both lived through that. I lived that in real estate and personally. Yeah, absolutely.
The foreclosure rate was 400 homes a day.
Yeah, it was
tremendous
crazy.
problems.
Yeah, amazing.
We made loans to people that didn't, in essence, qualify for loans. They didn't have jobs. They shouldn't have bought those homes.
Yeah.
We made loans to people on values that really weren't even justified with the appraisal.
Certainly.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, it was a tough time, tough time.
If you look today's market, it's not the same market at all.
I agree.
People today have to qualify to get a loan. So if you get a loan today, you have to have a credit score, you have to go with all the documentations, you have to have a job. But there's different, so in essence, the marketplace today is not the way it was in 2000.
And they're more strict too. I mean, they put in a lot more guidelines since that happened for that very reason, to avoid that burst, if you will, happening again.
The other thing we had is the homes were purchased as speculation. People would buy 3 homes, 4 homes, and they shouldn't buy one. Right today, the homes are purchased and people live in those homes. It's a huge difference when you have a stake in the game.
Absolutely, absolutely. So going off of that, and talking a little bit more about the past and what's going to happen. What's going to happen to our future? What do you think 2019 has to bring, since now we're in the last quarter of the year?
It's going to be an interest because real estate is local.
Yeah.
So really, you can't compare the states around us with our state. Our state's completely different. If you look at our state, let's say 12 years ago, the largest employer was Walmart. Today, our largest employer is Banner Healthcare. We become a technology state.
Yes.
And we are now moving into the technology world. We have created almost as many jobs as Austin, Texas has in technology.
Oh, wow.
So
I
we're the
didn't know that.
technology boost of where people are coming from. If you look at the median price of our house now, it's about $260,000, give or take $1,000. If you would go to Los Angeles, San Jose, anywhere along the west, the western area, you will see homes that would be $1 million, $900,000, $800,000.
Oh gosh.
Or here, our median home is $260,000.
Right. Well, that's interesting. It's a very good viewpoint. It's a good perspective to have on what's going on with our market.
So with home equity loans slowing down, we have homes that are basically occupied by owners.
Right.
We have new conventional loans for live-in. Interest rates are going up. You're seeing a market now starting to stabilize at level, which is absolutely perfect.
It is perfect. And we're also seeing more FHA and VA financing coming into play too for your owner occupants.
We're starting to see that because of the low amount for down payment. FHA is 3.5%.
Right.
Conventional, they have some 3% down loans.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you bring it up because we're finding people that are younger enough trying to get houses, they're having a hard time with the down payment. So FHA and 3% can be a good way for them to get into it.
Well, there's buyer assistance too that's out there right now. So what there is today that there wasn't 10 years ago are other options for people for purchasing, but they're really good options, let's say that, so they don't get in over their head.
It's interesting when I teach the classes at ASU, I have a lot of people there from Indonesia, China, Russia, Poland.
Really?
I ask them why they're here, and they state they want to learn the American way. I asked if they're going to stay here. They say, we hope we can. So it's interesting. They're here. downtown Tempe,
Right.
they find real estate, they find our business climate to be really, really something they like as young people. The question is, are they allowed to stay here?
Right. Because they're usually here on what visas? They're
they're here.
visas to go to
Right.
school
They're here as an
and
exchange
education
student,
exchange
but boy,
student.
do they love the atmosphere once they get here.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't?
Yeah, who
I
doesn't?
mean, I am a Sun Devil. I graduated from ASU and I love it. And just to bring it back to the fact that we're sitting here at the House of Tricks here in Tempe, just to kind of bring a little touch of what's around us and where Bill works and what he enjoys. And because this is one of those areas, one of the things about Tempe too is it's had a great run in the real estate world. It's done very well. It's been a very strong market for the
And
most
it's
part.
not over with the Tempe area and the town
Right.
lake.
It's
not
all
over.
still growing. It's amazing to see, especially with the universities growing. So, as that expands, and I'm sure that the number of students here has probably tripled since I've been here. So it's going to continue to grow to accommodate for that. I just want to say thank you, Bill, for taking the time out and being a part of the American dream and sharing your insight on what's happening in the market today and in the future.
You're certainly welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
What I love about you, Grant, is that there's a lot of people out there right now, and they're preaching bullshit, right? There's a lot of snake oil salesmen that live online now, and I've followed you, gotten to know you. You really live what you talk about. I mean, 10X isn't just some brand. Like, you're actually someone who invests time, energy, and capital into growth. Where does that inspiration come from? Because it's definitely real, man.
In the beginning years of me being an entrepreneur, I didn't spend any money. I didn't have any employees. I had a half of an employee. I worked out of my office. I did everything on the cheap.
What year was this?
This is, late 90s.
Okay.
Even for the first 20 years, though, of my career, like if you go back and look at what I was doing, I was a speaker and a consultant on how to grow a business, but I didn't have a business.
Okay.
And I hated it.
Yeah.
Because every time I'm talking to a guy about growing a business, when I went back to my hotel that night, I was just selling time.
Sure.
I was the guy you were describing.
Why do you feel so much more confident today?
I got 115 employees that 30 of them probably will become millionaires.
Wow.
I'm not Facebook. I'm not Amazon. Like, I'm not doing this on the backs of Wall Street. This is now I'm orchestrating a business. This has all happened in the last 8 or 9 years.
Incredible.
Yeah. When you take the lid off of, that's why I'm so passionate about what I talk about. Because when you take the lid off of this idea that you're going to work from home, that's so popular today.
Yep.
You're going to be a consultant or an advertiser or a marketer from your bedroom, and you're going to make millions of dollars. It doesn't matter. You're still not going to be a business.
The online world creates so much opportunity, but there's also so much phoniness to it, right? And I'm in the middle of writing a book right now called American Dream 2.0, and it's talking about the digital age, connectivity, but you can't ignore work ethic and real relationships and building social capital. And I think if you can bring those worlds together, it's probably the greatest opportunity in the history of mankind.
I mean, look at you left San Diego to come to Miami to build your business out. You can't.
You got to get here. Yeah.
You can't do everything on Facebook and Instagram. There's still got to be somebody putting time and energy and resources at risk. I really admire that about what you guys are doing with American Dream.
Well, and think about that term, the American Dream. A lot of people say it's dead, right? Yeah. And the moment you stop dreaming, I think, is the moment that you're dead. Tell us what's next for you. So you got a big event coming up, but give us 3, 5, 10 years. Where do you think you go from here?
I have a company that I think I can take to $10 billion. My goal is to build the biggest real estate company, privately held real estate company in the country.
So you're still inspired, still hustling.
Yeah, still excited. We just, just released a book. It was the best release of any book I've ever done by 10 times.
Wow.
And so we're excited about a lot of stuff. I want to make the people that either partner with me or work with me to be, to do as well as I'm doing, if that's possible. And I think it is.
We're really inspiring people, man. As I was driving over here, we're posting, doing the social media thing too, and I can't tell you how many messages I'm getting from people telling me to thank you.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Man.
Yeah, so I hope you get that on the day-to-day, but I just want to share that with you. Yeah. Appreciate you having us out here. It's been a lot of fun.
Appreciate you, okay? We'll take it up in the air next time.
Yeah, let's do it.
And you're watching The American Dream. Today's guest is Amanda Todd, CEO, speaker, and realtor. Amanda, how are you? Thanks for joining us today.
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I haven't had a chance to interview yet, but I'm excited to get some insight on the real estate market. So let's get to it. What's going on in the real estate market today?
Well, it's really interesting because we have had a really big housing shortage throughout the country over the last really couple of years. We're starting to see more inventory than we've had. So what that means is that buyers are actually being able to negotiate a better deal than they've been able to in a long time.
What sort of buyers are you seeing in this trend in the housing market? Are you seeing more millennials, or are you seeing a lot of people, first-time home buyers, kind of taking a dip in the housing market?
Well, honestly, we're seeing a really broad range because the economy has been doing really well, so people have money that they feel like they can spend. So from first-time buyers to empty nesters, we're actually seeing a lot of empty nesters who are upgrading their houses now because the economy has done so well.
Interesting. And then so what are some trends that people are gearing towards when they're looking for homes? Are they more the modern contemporary? Because I'm seeing a lot, right? You flip through magazines and seeing a lot of the inventory. You go from Spanish colonial to modern contemporary. The very extreme two types. So do you see a similar trend in the people that want to buy these homes as well?
Honestly, it's kind of the farmhouse chic that's really popular right now. Stuff you see on, TV that is really showcased. It's amazing. Even all around the country, that's a really common trend that I'm seeing people. It is pretty geographic specific, whether you have kind of the southwestern style or the more urban. It just depends on where you're at. But really overall, I would say the most common theme is that kind of farmhouse chic that's really trending right now.
I love the barn doors that you see in like offices, and those are great to put in the home.
Walls and,
Definitely. Well, we're heading into, of course, holiday season, right, towards the end of the year, and naturally so, it's sort of a slower market now coming off of what we had in the summer, right? So how can sellers and buyers prepare for a slower market this season?
Right, definitely. So like I said earlier, buyers are having more negotiating room now than they really have had in a long time. Where in some markets, buyers were up against 15 offers, we're seeing less and less. So I would say buyers can gear up to be ready to buy right now because interest rates are projected to still rise over the next year. So that will just make payments cost more. And sellers are getting a lot more motivated because a lot of times sellers who are on the market right now, they might have come on the market in the summer hoping to hit the peak season. They might have been priced a little bit high. So now if they're still on the market, there's a lot more negotiating room there for buyers. For a seller who needs to sell right now, then the things that they need to do are really prep their house and make sure that it's really sharp and will stand above and beyond the other homes in their neighborhood, because houses are still selling, but don't push the market. Make sure that you are competitively priced and that you definitely stand out from the rest of the houses around you.
Are you seeing a lot of flip homes, like home flippers that are taking, I guess, the initiative to, right, you see shows that kind of give home buyers the encouragement to flip and do their own home projects. Are you seeing the same as far as people purchasing homes and thinking, oh, this would be a great project, whether it's investment or their own first-time home buyer program? But do you think that like flipping homes is sort of a trend still?
Oh, it definitely is. In fact, I actually was chuckling at how many house flipping shows are actually out there right now. It is so trendy. And so one of the things that actually I feel is really important that I can do as a real estate professional is to consult with these investors, especially if it's one of their first projects, to really walk through the project with them and make sure that they're investing their money in the right ways. Because one of the most heartbreaking things to me is to have an investor come to me to list their flipped property for sale and to see that they've gotten in way too deep and they've spent too much money. So it's finding the balance of putting money in the right places. Countertops, always the right place. Paint, always the right place. Flooring, always the right place. But just making sure that you're actually doing things to the house that will really truly add value to it.
Correct. And you said it right there. Thank you, Amanda. Todd, you said it best, a professional buyer side as well. When you handle these big investments, right? Purchasing or buying or selling your home, it always helps to have a great realtor in your side. So thanks again, Amanda Todd, for your time and all your input on this.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching American Dream. Stay with us. We've got more to come.
Welcome back to the American Dream, where we are now focusing in on your local Phoenix market. I want to welcome back onto the show Kelly Zitlow. She is the VP of Cornerstone Home Lending, and her guest today is Liz Mason, co-founder and CEO of High Rock Accounting. Ladies, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Absolutely.
Hi.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
So Liz, I want to talk to you a little bit about people that might be thinking of starting a business. I know you work a lot with entrepreneurs. What are some of the most common ways that people begin that process?
Yeah, absolutely. So generally people start this side gig. And so we live in this economy of side gigs where they're like, oh, I'm going to go freelance, or I have this brilliant idea for a product. Let me sell it on Etsy.
Sure. It's the side hustle.
Yeah, exactly. The side hustle. And that's what you talk to everybody at this point, and they're doing something on the side because it is part of the American dream, right? And so they end up building this company in a micro sense, and it starts growing, and it gets to the point where it can financially support them. Now, when you're starting to talk to a CPA or an accountant in general, and you have questions about finances, they'll come to you and say, did you bootstrap this business? And most small business owners don't know what that means. So bootstrapping is what they did. They pulled money out of their savings, they created revenue, and self-driving the business to grow it to a substantial piece of intellectual property there.
Sure. So you said that is the way that most American businesses are actually started.
Yeah, indeed. And so when you're looking at the small scale and these locally owned businesses, it's these people pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, which is why we call it bootstrapping.
Now, Kelly, what if you have bootstrapped your business or you are self-employed, you're building that business from the ground up? As Liz mentioned, maybe you're using some of your own finances, putting a little bit of debt on credit card and just taking the money from the business and putting it back into itself. How do you acquire a home loan? Tell me a little bit about that financing process.
Well, this can be challenging depending on where you are in the bootstrapping process.
Absolutely.
So if you are recently self-employed and there is no other revenue stream coming into the home, meaning a spouse or somebody else that's going to be on the home loan that has a just general wage earner type of job or income, then really it's important to think that you're going to have at least 1 year tax return, if not 2 year tax returns, reflecting the income that you are generating from that new business. And I really want to make the point here because we work with a lot of self-employed people, and this is the number one area where they get off track, and that is, and Liz, chime in here, but if you've got gross receipts of $300,000, but you've written off $299,000, especially if on a Schedule C type of buyer or borrower, the net differential for the usable income on the home loan in that scenario would be like $1,000, right?
Wow. Exactly.
Divided by 12. So it's one of those things that from a self-employed standpoint, really partnering with a CPA that is going to kind of walk you through these things. And ideally you're doing it prior to starting the business.
Yeah.
Right?
So the day that you say, okay, I'm thinking I'm quitting my job, but I want to buy a house in the next 4 years, talk to a mortgage lender at that point, and find somebody like Kelly that actually has knowledge and can advise you, because people end up writing off all of their expenses, plus some personal expenses, plus some of their dog's expenses and their sisters, so that they don't have to pay tax. But at the end of the day, paying a little bit of tax and being able to qualify for a loan is way better for you long term than not paying any tax.
Right. As you said, think about your long-term goals. Liz, tell us a little bit more about the impact of some of the recent 2018 tax law changes, specifically for businesses and then for the self-employed.
Absolutely. So there have been a lot of additional deductions allowable for business, mostly large businesses, but still many of them apply to small businesses. One of the ones that is getting a lot of attention is deducting the purchase of equipment. So now they're expanded what's called Section 179 limits. You can basically just write off all of the equipment that you buy in a certain year. So if you start some kind of business that has computer equipment, or you need to rent a facility and you do some leasehold improvements, there's a lot that you can deduct immediately, which gives you additional deductions in this year. Again, making sure that you're thinking about what you want your profits to be so that you can qualify for these loans in the future, makes it if it should or should not be deducted. And then from a real estate perspective, there were expansions on what is deductible currently, or what can qualify for accelerated deductions. But overall, if you buy a building in a business, you still have to depreciate it over the 39 years.
Oh, such great information. And Kelly, we are out of time, but quickly, does it matter how long you've been self-employed as far as your chances for qualifying for a home loan?
It absolutely does. So it's not just the length of the self-employment. Lenders are going to look at the tax return that is associated with the self-employment income.
Okay, great. Great information, ladies. I think we need to do another segment on this. Never enough information here. Thank you so much for being on The American Dream.
Thanks for having us.
And we'll be right back with more of the show.
So that's all for today's episode of The American Dream. Look, The American Dream is about overcoming adversity or dreaming big. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Always combating negative media. Don't forget you can follow us on social media. See you next week.